Welcome to Two Chicks and a Horror Flick, a weekly horror movie review podcast. I'm Tawny Ray.
And I'm Felicia Connor. Subscribe to get new episodes every Wednesday. We dive into trivia, drink a little whiskey, and of course, give our no BS opinions.
Join our Discord server or message us on social media to talk all things scary.
And if you like the show, consider supporting us on Patreon.
You can find all these links on our website, twochicksandahorrorflick.com. Thanks for listening.
Now let's get scared. Hello, Tawny, and everybody listening. We're happy to be with you again tonight. We are talking about The Taking of Deborah Logan, and this was a patron pick. So thank you so much to everybody who put in their picks for us. We're going to do it every month. And so, and we promise to get our shit together and do it a lot, give you more time to put in your suggestions. But yeah, it was awesome. And so the winner was The Taking of Deborah Logan. But before we get into all of that, Tawny, Tawny, what are you drinking?
I've got some Trulies on deck. So I'm drinking a blueberry and acai Truly. And I'm celebrating a little bit because I got a new job.
Whoop, whoop. Yes. Down to the police. I didn't know if you were going to share or not. So I was like, kind of, giving you the space to see.
Yeah.
So happy for you. So happy.
Thanks. I'm so excited. So that's what's going on in my life. But what are you drinking?
I'm drinking water. Here we are. I feel like I need to drink some water. And so that's what I'm drinking.
Yeah. Good.
What have you been doing? What have you been up to? I know you've been up to getting your new job. So,
yeah.
Have you been able to fit anything else in?
I don't think so, dude. I don't even think I've watched or played Elden Ring since we talked last.
Wow.
Yeah. It's been so ridiculously busy. So I don't really have anything to report other than what I already said. What about you? What'd you watch?
Awesome. Because I watched a lot. So
okay.
It's not going to take a long time. All right. So 2 nights ago, we started 1883, which is the prequel to Yellowstone.
Yeah. I should have known.
We were going to wait. We were going to wait till the next season of Yellowstone comes out because it's a Paramount Plus subscription, but we couldn't. So we've watched 2 of those episodes. And we were just in this mode of we wanted to watch country and we wanted to be emotional. It was maybe more me than Steve, okay. But he was like, cool, let's do it. So we watched Crazy Heart and we've watched Star is Born. And we've seen Stars Born before, with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper, but we watched that. And we just started tonight because you guys may remember from back in the day, Formula One has a new season.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So we started season 4 tonight, like right before the podcast. And I've been watching Turning Red a lot with TT. She is loving it. And today we actually had okay, this is her second week of spring break. She only has like a few days left of it. And I was like, shit, I should have took some time off with her. So my boss, my day job boss is super cool. And he was like, take it off. So today was TT Day, totally dedicated to whatever she wanted to do. So we played board games, played hours of Roblox, and watched Turning Red.
Nice.
And Turning Red, I wanted to say, is super cute. We love it. But I guess Steve was just telling me that there's tons of parents who are super mad at Disney for this movie.
I was seeing something about this too, about it being about periods or something. And I don't know. I haven't seen it. Is this what you were saying also?
Yeah.
Or is this like a totally different thing? Okay. I was like,
no, this is exactly. It's not about that.
Okay.
So I shouldn't laugh like that. I guess there's all different types of parents, but I guess I just don't understand. TT knows what a period is. I mean, what's the big deal? I guess I just don't know what the big deal is about it. But I guess, it's not about periods. So, I guess I can't say anything, right? Because people hadn't seen it.
Yeah, you don't want to ruin it.
You know that it's about red pandas, right? So I can just say it's a miscommunication between the mom and the daughter. Red pandas, period. But that's not the whole movie. That's a moment.
I was like, okay. I was thinking, okay, this is a movie. It's an allegory for your period, and that's why people are upset. No, okay.
I think it's an allegory of a girl who's 13, by the way. So it's not like she's 5, but she's 13, and she is really wanting to step into who she is. She's very, 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 very strict mother.
Okay.
So it's kind of that balance, but that's just like one piece of it. And I guess the girls also have like crushes on boys, but I don't know. If you have a 7, 8-year-old and you think they don't know what a crush is, I don't know.
I don't know what to tell you.
Maybe if they're homeschooled and they haven't, like, I don't know. But yeah, there's some parents are really, really mad about it. I mean, I don't know if this makes me a good mom or a bad mom. We've seen it 4 times already. TT thinks it's funny.
Yeah.
Like when the girl has a crush on the boy and what happens. Cute. Yeah. She thinks it's funny. I don't know. Honestly, I heard people were like, we weren't ready to have these conversations. What conversations? That your kid's going to get a period one day? Let's not have the whole situation like Carrie with your kid.
Right.
Like, let's just tell them what's going on.
Yes. Yeah.
So anyways, that's my little spiel on that. It's really cute. You should watch it. I'd be curious. I would be curious if there's any parents who are like, no. Like, I just don't, I guess I just don't understand.
Yeah.
But
interesting.
That's it. It was a lot, but that was it.
Cool.
Yeah.
You're out here watching shit. You're like,
yeah, we're doing it. And we're going to the rodeo Saturday, so I'll let you know. Maybe I'll post some pictures on how that goes.
I do really want to know how it goes. I brought it up to Jade. I told him that you were going to the rodeo, and he was like, why? He goes, because right when we moved here, his parents were going to go to like some rodeo, and they were like, do you want to go with us? And Jade was like, fuck no, I don't want to go to this rodeo. I was like, I'm down to go just to have the experience of it, because I've never been to one. I think it would be like probably at least funny. It'd at least be some type of story, right?
Yeah.
And he like talked me out of it. He was like, you do not want to go to the rodeo. I promise you. It is not fun. And so we were like going over it again. And he's like, it's just a bunch of shit that you're not interested in, you or me as a person. Like, are you interested in watching like bull or whatever it is, bulls jumping around? No. Do you want to look at animals? Like, no. Do you want to listen to country music? No. None of that is for you. Like, you don't, he like talked me out of it. I was like, you're right. I don't want to go there. That's not my fucking scene at all. So I want updates.
Okay. I would have never thought, but we are interested in all of those things because of Yellowstone. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to lie. This is the truth. And it's probably going to be a different experience, but we are taking TT and her little friend, because they have a carnival as well. So it's like they have a carnival and food, and I don't know. I've never been. So it's probably going to be hot, and it's probably, who knows, but
hot, it's dirty.
It's in the evening actually. So, and there's a carnival and stuff. The kids will have fun.
Yeah. I like a carnival.
And then we'll be like, yeah, you know what? It's not as good as Yellowstone.
Probably not.
So
we like, man, there's really not a lot of drama happening. Damn.
We are so brainwashed because we also, so Josh from Horror Movie Crew, if anybody wants to know what country music to listen to or anything, he literally can teach a university course. He sent me the longest message, and then he broke it up into subgenres and to put like artists to listen to from the genres. So I do like the bluegrass and rock genre. And I was talking to Steve about it, and Steve's like, oh, you know what I just did? I just bought us tickets to Country Thunder, which is a country music festival.
No, Felicia.
This is crazy. It's out of control.
This might be where I draw the line. Okay.
Yeah, it's only one day.
Okay. I don't know if I can be friends if you go to, what did you just call it? Country.
What is it called? Thunder? Right?
Thunder.
Country Thunder?
Country Thunder Mania?
I don't think there's a mania. You made that up. I didn't say mania. Country Thunder is what I think it's called. It's a giant music festival, I believe. You know what the rodeo is called? Roots and Boots.
Oh, no. We can't be friends anymore. I'm joking. I'm joking.
So much fun. I'll tell you all about it. This will all get out of my system. And I felt the same about bikers after watching Sons of Anarchy. I'm just kidding.
You're not kidding.
At least I didn't feel that way about meth after watching Breaking Bad.
That's true.
So that's good.
Yeah.
All right. You want to talk about this movie? Or?
Let's do it.
All right. So The Taking of Deborah Logan from 2014, supernatural horror / found footage. I watched it on Amazon Prime. The director is Adam Robitel. Hopefully I'm saying that right. And he also directed Insidious: The Last Key, Escape Room, and Paranormal Activity: The Ghost Dimension. The budget was $2 million and the box office was $274,000.
Ouch.
It went to, I read somewhere, I believe it went direct to like a digital and then video. I don't think it was in the movie theater.
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 91%. IMDb gave it 6 out of 10 and Letterboxd 3.1 out of 5. The cast: Jill Larson plays Deborah Logan. Anne Ramsey plays Sarah Logan. Michelle Ang was Mia Medina. Brett Gentile was Gavin. Jeremy DeCarlos was Luis. And Ryan Cutrona was Harris. Das is all I got.
Okay. So I got your 2 minutes with Tawny, which is also just the Wikipedia plot summary. It's been a scattered week, everyone. I'm sorry. I cannot get my life together, and so I did not write this. Okay, so here we go. Mia, Medina, Gavin, and Luis are a team of students who want to create a documentary about Deborah Logan, an elderly woman who has Alzheimer's disease. As the film crew records her daily life, Deborah starts to exhibit increasingly bizarre actions that her personal physician states are normal for someone with an aggressive form of Alzheimer's. However, cameraman Luis begins to notice that her actions defy normal explanations and expresses concern that something supernatural is occurring. Things grow more tense after Luis and Gavin record audio of Deborah speaking in French, talking about sacrifices and snakes. They notice that the line for 337 at her switchboard continually rings. The line belonged to a local physician. Is it Henri? They kept saying Henri Desjardins, which it looks like Henry, but it must be a French name. Henri Desjardins, who disappeared after a series of cannibalistic ritualized murders of 4 young girls. Deborah's behavior becomes so extreme that she is hospitalized for her own safety. Dismayed, Gavin quits the film. The others discovered that Desjardins was supposedly trying to recreate an ancient Monacan ritual that would make him immortal, but required the deaths of 5 girls that recently had their first period. Interesting.
Oh,
relevant.
Just like turning red. Little did you know it was about a cannibalistic ritual.
Yeah, people are mad about that. They're mad about the period part. Yeah. They wonder whether Deborah is possessed by Desjardins. At the hospital, Harris Shreddle, I don't know how you say that. I felt like every time I was hearing them say this in the movie, I was like, I wasn't getting it. Anyway, Harris, Deborah's friend, visits her and she begs him to kill her. He tries to comply but is knocked out by the entity possessing her. Deborah's daughter Sarah, along with Mia and Luis, discover that Deborah had unsuccessfully tried to abduct Cara Manetti, a young cancer patient. Sarah learns from Harris that years ago, Deborah found out that Desjardins planned to use Sarah as his 5th victim. It had prompted her to murder the doctor before he could accomplish his plan, and she buried his body in the yard. The group finds the body's remains and tries to burn them, but fails. Deborah succeeds in abducting Cara and taking her to the location where Desjardins had killed his previous victims. After discovering Deborah has gone into the mines, Sheriff Linda Tweed follows behind, only to be killed. Sarah and Mia find Deborah as she is trying to swallow Cara's head in a snake-like manner and manage to burn Desjardins' corpse. The film then cuts to news footage of reporters stating that Deborah was deemed unfit to stand trial for her crimes and abduction of Cara. Is it Cara or Cara? I keep saying Cara.
I think Cara's fine. Because
right.
I don't remember.
I don't either. It's a very small part. Anyway, Cara has overcome her cancer and is celebrating her 10th birthday. As the reporter begins to wrap up the story, Cara turns to the camera and gives a sinister smile, hinting that Desjardins' ritual was completed and he is now in control of her body. The end.
All right. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Wikipedia. That was a pretty good recap. Sometimes they're too long. Yeah. Sometimes they're not enough. I felt like that was just right, you know?
Yeah. When you just had finished, like, right before you were going into the, the place where he killed all the kids, I was like, oh God, this is going to take forever. This should have ended just like the movie. But I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Tawny, Ray, how did you feel about this movie?
This movie, I've seen it before. So this is the second time that I've seen it. I've watched it. And I feel like I liked it more the first time. It might be that I'm just in a mood this week where I'm having a really hard time focusing on anything because I had a hard time focusing on the movie. And I remember the first time I watched it, I was really impressed. I liked it. Like, I was like, that's a sleeper hit right there. Like, nobody's talking about this movie. And I think I still feel that way to some degree, but I was able to, like, I don't know, find more flaws in it this time than I did the first time. I do think it's worth a watch. I think that they take the found footage and they do it in an interesting way. Like, I like the story, like the setup of the story and why they're there, shooting things and how they incorporate some of the footage from the project itself. Like, all of that I really like. And also we have some really good scary moments with Deborah that I think are awesome. But, upon rewatching, I was like, this is getting a little convoluted. I was like, what's happening? Who's this guy? What about these girls? Like, I don't know. It just got real complicated for some reason. But anyway, I think that's where I landed. Like, it was all right. I liked it. I think it's worth a watch. I think I would say for right now. You might change my mind. I don't know. How did you feel?
Nice. Okay. I did not like it. I didn't hate it, but I did not like it. And I think in a nutshell, I was very neutral the whole way. Towards the end, I was begging for a jump scare, even if it was like the Saw dude's face just flashing the screen, like in those jump scares you can see on TikTok. I just wanted something to scare me. So this is what I felt it did. Mom's not in her room. Let's look for mom. Look for mom. Look for mom. We're in the hospital. Let's look for mom. Look for mom. We're in the hospital. Look for mom. We're in the hospital. And then the end, it switched to, where's mom and the kid? There she is. Where's mom and the kid? There she is. And it kept just going back and forth like that, except for that one moment of her eating that kid like a snake. That was cool. Yeah. And then it was done.
Yeah.
And I also felt like, trope isn't the right word, but I feel like they took from all the other movies that have done this found footage paranormal stuff really well. They took pieces from all of those movies and put it in this movie. Like, oh yeah, we're going to be scared to take the sheets off. The sheets are all over paintings and shit in this room.
Yeah.
Oh, turn around. There's the old lady. I didn't think her voices were scared. I thought possession has been done way better. And so when I saw that it scored so high in like Rotten Tomatoes and stuff, it was received really well. And then I found one thing that totally echoed the way I felt. And it was by Bloody Disgusting. Bloody Disgusting panned the film, stating it was unduly derivative of other similarly themed works to be truly effective. And that other than a specific scene near the end, the film brings nothing new to the table. And I felt exactly that way. Again, nothing that was glaring to me that made me hate it or like I'm ready to totally rip this film apart. I was completely neutral and just didn't really enjoy the experience.
Yeah. What year was this made again?
2014.
Okay. I feel like it must have felt more fresh when I watched it the first time. And I don't remember when it was, but maybe, I don't know. I feel like I remember being like, oh, that was interesting. But maybe I just went in with really low expectations the first time, you know? But I do think that scene is the standout moment of
Mhm.
the entire movie. The other thing that I felt like that I don't know if I'm actually mixing this up with a different movie because they never that I noticed they didn't like expressly state this, but I thought that the idea was actually that she was opened up to this possession due to being on these drugs. So like the first incident when they go in and they up her medication, it makes her like less in control of herself and she's like more open to this, entity. And I really liked that idea, but I might be mixing that up with a different movie, actually. So I guess that in itself, is derivative, right? Like it feels like, okay, maybe that was taken from something else or something took that idea and, expanded on it. Because I like that idea, that
Yeah.
you think you're trying to do something to help this person, but it actually does the exact opposite. It makes it way worse. It makes them open to this possession. I will say I like the acting, at least. Like, not from everybody, but I do think that, what's her name? Sarah, the woman who played Sarah. I
Yeah.
feel like she was really good. And I actually looked her up because I was like, I swore that I had seen her in
She
something
looks
else.
really familiar.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen her in it. I haven't seen
Really?
any of the shit that was on her list. So I was like, maybe I have not, but I felt like I really liked her performance.
I liked her too. Yeah, I definitely don't. I'm just curious she's so familiar to me. I was getting all excited that you were going to say, yeah, she was in all these movies.
No.
Maybe I've seen like Mad About You and stuff, but I don't know why that brings A League of Their Own. I saw. Oh, A League of Their Own. That's what she's from. Yes, A League of Their Own. That's who I recognize her from. And that is an old movie. So she's a memorable face. I did like her acting. I thought all the acting that's why I think I felt neutral. I thought all the acting was good. I was just bored with the situation of every night, mom's not in her bed. And then they're
Yeah.
sneaking around the house in the dark with the cameras. Mom's not in her bed. And then literally the lady's just like walking around on the cameras. There's a one scene where she goes up on the stove, but I don't know. It doesn't look scary. And I know they're pointing out with the numbers don't break.
Yeah,
So
the
it's
time
not a
code.
cut. I don't know. But I agree with you. I didn't feel even Deborah, I didn't think she did a bad job.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I think of The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and dude, that's just next level.
Yeah.
So when I see her, it just feels, I don't know. It wasn't impressive to me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it does feel kind of cheap, like I think that's one of the things on the second rewatch. This watch, I felt like I was seeing through the movie on several occasions. And again, maybe it's just the mood that I was in, but I was just like watching some of these scenes and I'm like, what are we doing? It's just people yelling. There's a lot of yelling. Like, it's a very chaotic movie, which I wasn't loving either because I've been a little stressed out. So it's like, I had to just turn it way down and turn on subtitles. But, they're just like doing weird stuff. Like, it's like when shit gets intense and they're looking for her, something creepy is happening. Everybody's like, panicked and doing like weird panicked things, but not, I guess okay, let me try to describe this better. It's not weird. It makes sense, but it feels like acting stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And again, I don't think the acting was bad necessarily. It just was like, there just were not great scenes, They're like, do this or do that. Like, we have to burn it. It's like, what? Okay. I don't know. It just feels like transparent. Like I can just see the movie being made in front of me. I don't know. Is that like a weird way to put it? It's weird.
I totally agree. I can vibe what you're saying.
Okay, good.
I felt the same way about her being possessed. Act like you are possessed. Where, say, The Exorcism of Emily Rose, which came out way before this movie, I believe, right? It came out way before.
I don't remember.
She seemed possessed to me. there's maybe people that would disagree, but there's like just really good acting where she seemed like she was possessed, or I'm acting like I'm possessed. So hopefully there's someone out there going, I totally get what you guys are saying.
Okay, so you're right. It was like 10 years before, because The Exorcism of Emily Rose was in 2005. But I do think that like that was Jennifer Carpenter. We talked about this movie. Her acting in this movie is incredible. Like I don't know if you can compare. I mean, she just was next level good in this movie.
I just want everybody who's going to be an actor to be that good. Like I just watched A Star Is Born. I told you guys that. I was just blown away. God, you would think these two people were real people, really in love, really struggling with shit. You know, like you would think that, you know, Bradley Cooper, I know that he has had issues way in the past, but he's sober for years and years and years now. He played it so fucking good, you know?
Yeah.
Like I just want, if you're going to be an actor, please just be good. I know it's hard, but I think when I see a movie with really, really, really good acting, then it makes me go, see, I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew there's got to be people out there that can do this.
Yeah. Don't let me get distracted because I'm about to go on a tangent. Oh, we're gonna come back around to acting and Deborah. Okay. But what I just want to say, this is one of those weird moments. I literally just today was talking to Maddie, somebody on my team, about A Star Is Born, which is so weird. Like, I don't know, just weird.
It is weird. Periods, A Star Is Born.
But I had mentioned like, I don't love that movie. Like I love Lady Gaga, and I like Bradley Cooper too. I think he's great. But I was like, just talking about how I cannot handle, and I might have talked about this before on the podcast, like I can't handle movies or things that deal with like somebody handling like addiction and like diving down into addiction. Like this is like the one thing that it's too much for me. And everybody's talking about Euphoria right now. And I'm like, I cannot bring myself to watch it. Even though people keep telling me to watch it and say that I would like it, I don't think I can do it because I'm just like, okay, they're like teenagers in high school and they're doing like ridiculously non-high school things. I'm like, I don't know if I buy that. But on top of that, I cannot watch somebody like ruin their life with drugs. Like I cannot do it. I'm sorry. Have you seen any of it?
Yeah, I've seen it all except the current season.
Okay.
And I can say, I don't think they're doing things that high school students wouldn't. Maybe not experiences we would have had, but where they're growing up in the, you know, yeah, but I haven't seen the current season, so I don't know what they've done this season. But in the past, it all seems like things that definitely high school students could have done, but it's hard to watch. It made me really scared for my teens to watch it. And so for like A Star Is Born, I agree with you. I was talking to my husband, I'm like, are you sure you want to watch this movie? It's just soul crushing. It's like, we're literally going in. It's soul crushing. There's not like happiness. There's not going to be happiness when we turn it off. And so if you don't like that and A Star Is Born, I think, because Euphoria, then you just see it's like that level of addiction but with kids.
Yeah, like I can't deal with it. Anyway, I just had to know. That was weird. That's the second time this has come up today for me. Anyway, so back to Deborah. I feel like she does a good job. I hear what you're saying as far as the possession. I think, there's a little bit left to be desired, but I like some of my favorite parts are when she is just staring at people, like especially after she goes like digging in the garden and she's like washing her hands. Mia, I think, is washing her hands off. She's just like staring at her. I like those because they're like unnerving. It's that subtle type of scary instead of like a jump scare. But it's a little, It's
a lot of that though. Like I liked that one thing you said, her staring at her like that creepy when she was washing her hands. But then there's just a lot of her staring around and walking around and Mom's not in bed. Mom's not in bed. There's Mom. Let's take her to the hospital. Let's bring her home. She's not in bed.
In the hospital.
Gosh, that snake scene was so. I was literally at that moment when they came around the corner because I was getting real bored with them arguing in that dark wherever they were, and then finding them and going, oh, come here, come here. And then they run away. Where are they? And I was like, really, this needs to end. And she came around the corner and that visual, I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like all of a sudden, all my senses were like, what is that? Because you're trying to make sense of it, right?
Yeah.
That was great. And that was done. I didn't like the end. I mean, I didn't care. I did not like it, but it was like, whatever.
I know. You're sort of like, okay, I guess. Like, sure. It is very like expected, you know?
Yeah.
Like you're like, okay.
What's going on with this kid?
Sure.
So he made it in there. And then I thought to myself, well, shit, his spell isn't immortal. He's going to have to find 4 more kids, you know, and who knows when. What if this kid was in a car accident and died and he wouldn't even have a chance to go kill 5 more kids to then go into another kid's body?
Also, how long do you have to wait for you in a child's body to be like effective to do it again? You know what I mean? Like you're just going to hang out as a child for the next 12 fucking years until you're like somewhat capable.
Hope to God nothing happens to her. Like, shit, well, I guess you could, if you're in the body, you could be like, I'm not going to go play on that monkey bar because I might fall and hit my head.
You have an adult brain. Okay. Yes. I mean, still, though, you can't account for accidents.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, you know, putting yourself in the body of a child just seems like, okay, I mean, how long do you have to wait until you can be effective and do whatever you want to do? Like, if that's what you're trying to do. What?
Oh, I was just going to say, that's kind of a creepy thought, I guess, that grown man in that little kid's body. And like, what would you, it's weird. Okay, go ahead.
I was just going to say, what did you think about the like story of this? I got like lost in here, but it's possible that I just didn't pick up on it. Like the snakes and the ritual.
I got lost.
What was he trying to do? Okay.
Yeah, I did get lost, and then they recapped it, or they like kind of explained it in some part of it, and I was like, oh, okay, I think I'm on the right path now. But yeah, so I also liked the premise and was curious about, okay, there's this woman with Alzheimer's. Like I was telling Steve, maybe you want to watch it with me, because I said it's about a woman who has Alzheimer's and someone's going to document it. You know, they're doing a documentary about it, but does she really have Alzheimer's?
Right.
You know, and I was like, ooh. And they did mention something, by the way, Tawny, about how the demon possession, or the possession, and not demon, the possession is easier when the mind is weaker. So I thought that it meant because she has Alzheimer's, but I didn't even think about, the drugs probably makes the mind weaker as well. I didn't even think about that. But so I understood that and didn't obviously know why or what was possessing her. And then when they were talking about the switchboard and this number, and then they're doing, oh, this is the number. This is a guy. He killed children. I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Like, it was too much, dude.
Snakes everywhere. Snakes. Why? Yeah, there was a lot.
Yeah, it's like edit those ideas, you know, like cut some shit out. We didn't need all of that.
Did we need snakes? I guess snakes, because then she was a snake at the end.
Yeah, leave that in. That's fine. I liked that, you know, but maybe the switchboard didn't need to be involved. Like, I don't know. That was like, you can just tell there was like a lot of ideas that just got like mashed together.
Did they say at one point, I thought I heard it, but I wasn't interested enough to rewind it, that his 5th victim was going to be Sarah?
That's what it says in the recap that I read to you. But I did not pick it up in the movie.
I think they said something and it was super fast, because I went, oh, did they just say that woman was supposed to be, and that's why Deborah killed him, was because he was going to take her daughter as the 5th victim?
I guess so, but I did not hear that.
Yeah, I heard it real quick and I just wanted to confirm because I didn't rewind it, but
yeah.
And then you said it again and I obviously zoned out a little bit. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. There's a lot. Again, that's like one of those ideas that's like kind of tossed in here that I'm like, I don't even know if we needed it. You know, if she has the switchboard and if she hears conversations and knows that this guy's doing something, does it need to be her daughter that he's attacking?
Yeah.
You know,
because she could have When she was talking all like, "Rah, rah, rah," like a demon or possessed thing, she could have said that name or something, or she could have said something. And then Sarah would have been like, oh my God, I can't believe you guys don't know who this is. Cause it was a big case when we were, and then brought it in that way.
Yeah.
Like, why did Deborah even have to kill him? Why did it? Maybe his spirit was just because it was in the area.
Yeah.
Or then why would the remains? I don't know. Whatever else.
Yeah. That's the thing is like, yeah, it just gets really muddled, in the back part. Something that I did kind of start it again, and I kind of fast forward to show Jade some parts. I noticed that the very first scene when they come up on them and they're gardening, they have that bag. So they must have just dug up the body. I think that's like the intent of the movie is like, this is his body in the bag in that first scene that then they go, I think put in the attic or something. And I liked the idea that it was like, okay, we got to cover our tracks because she's starting to have Alzheimer's. She's going to stop remembering that she can't talk about this. I liked, like, there were some aspects of this movie that I liked. And that's one of them is we have to cover our tracks because this is going to be bad. And what do? You can't stop it from happening. So we got to protect ourselves because we killed this motherfucker and buried him out in your yard.
Oh yeah. I didn't even think about that. And I didn't realize that either.
Yeah.
That they had that bag. So I wonder, because I started thinking another piece that I felt like, oh, of course, is when, we have to go into the attic and you have to go in and you're looking around. And I was like, oh, here we go. I wonder if I've just seen that too many times that now that I'm seeing it in this movie, I'm thinking, here we go again. Where if I would have seen this movie when it came out, maybe I would feel that way about other movies. Does that make sense? But because since I saw so many others, so I immediately thought of Host. Well, Host was made just like last year, right? So, but it was so well done. I was so scared for them to go into the attic. And I like how they put the camera up there.
Yeah.
Because I was like, yes, you're not sticking your head up there. And a lot of movies do that where they go up into the attic and I don't know. I wasn't nervous at all. There was like no point where I even felt anxious. I was pretty level the entire time, which bummed me out because I want to feel freaked out.
Yeah. Yeah. Dang.
There was zero trivia for this movie. I'm not joking.
None?
It said this movie has no trivia.
What
on
the
IMDb. There was zero. I think it had one thing about, it wasn't trivia though. It was like under the spoilers section. And it was about nothing. I didn't even write it down. It wasn't anything interesting. Literally nothing. And so then I started to look at different things like you do my due diligence and try to find different stuff about it. It really didn't. I mean, there was a lot of, was this a true story? No, it wasn't even, it wasn't based on a true story. And then questions about the ending, which I didn't think the ending was questionable. I sound like an asshole, but that's.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could say like, did he possess this little girl or is she just creepy?
Either way, I guess, right? Or is she just creepy?
We don't know. They did not answer it.
Is she evil now? Because either way, she's evil and creepy, but for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. Or is it Deborah in there? But I don't think so.
Nah.
I'm just looking. Oh, I said right in the beginning, my very first note here is, well, now I am terrified to get Alzheimer's just from the beginning when they're explaining it and explaining all the stuff. I'm like, oh my God, this is stressful.
Yeah.
This is terrible. I already knew it was terrible, but I guess just the way they explained it and all the stuff they talked about. Remember the pictures of all of those people and like what it does to you? I don't think I knew to that extent that it did that.
Yeah, I think this is one of the strengths is like, you're watching the like parts of the Thesis film that this crew is making, and it feels rooted in reality. Like it feels like this is a thing that they would be putting together. It feels, it feels adequately inadequate, I guess. Like it feels like a student thesis, and I like that because it adds some realism to it. But yeah, the concept itself was not like crazy. I liked that they weren't even just going for Alzheimer's, but let's study how Alzheimer's affects primary caregivers of people who have Alzheimer's. Like I felt like that was a really interesting angle that maybe just got lost in the translation, because I do feel like there's this setup where Sarah sort of buys in and is, invested in the fact that maybe there isn't something happening to her mom that is Alzheimer related. Like she seems to be on board faster than most people in most types of movies like this, that there is something paranormal going on. And so I think I felt like maybe they were trying to set that up like she was being affected mentally and just was, but it is a paranormal movie. I don't know. So that kind of got lost as we went on, but I liked the premise of that. It just fizzled out.
Yeah, I agree. I was interested in the beginning about the premise.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like the things where she was ripping at her skin was,
yeah,
I don't know, it just wasn't scary. It was like, the reason I'm pausing is because the first thing that came to mind, it was just put in there to try to gross us out. Of course it was. Of course it was put in there for that. But it just was, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, but I think you could tell just by the way I'm not explaining it what I'm talking about. I thought one of the grossest parts was when they gave her a shot in her spine.
Oh, yeah. That was gross. Yeah,
that was gross.
Yeah. There also was a lot. Okay, this is one of those moments where I feel like I'm kind of seeing the movie being made, and it feels not realistic, where like you've got this doctor involved who's like constantly there, like she makes house calls, she's like you know what I mean, like she's always around for some reason. I'm like, this bitch is busy. I know she does not have time to be coming out to this house in the middle of the night to go up into the attic to look at this fucking switchboard and have a conversation with Sarah about like, what if I can pull this memory out of mom, like I just was like, what is happening? This is one of those moments where you're just like, no.
Yeah, when they were searching like the bowels of the hospital, where were all of the cops? A child has been kidnapped. No, it's I got it, guys. I got it, cops. I got it, police force. I know the patient. I'm going to go. And at what point is this patient literally not allowed to leave the hospital? Right. She is ripping chunks of her flesh out of her. At what point is she committed? No, but they let her go home though. At what point at what point do you not allow her? She went to the hospital several times and went home several times. So when is it that you are not actually allowing her to be released?
Yeah.
Like 5150 level or something. I mean, she's very, very dangerous, at least to herself, but others as well. First, she ripped her flesh out of her throat, and they're like, okay, but we calmed her down. Let me up her medication, send her home. Then she rips it off of her arm. Okay, this woman is going to end up killing herself. We can't. I'm sorry, Sarah. You can't fucking handle it because it's been like 1,600 nights that you wake up and say, mom's not in her room. When are you going to mom's not going to be in the fucking room. So we got to do something different.
I do think though, like I don't know, but I think this part doesn't bother me as much because I think there is kind of this situation where if people are dealing with something like this, they're left behind, I think, from the medical system because it's really expensive to have like full-time care. And so, what ends up happening is you do have this full-time caregiver for people who are not able to remember. And I've read like horrific stories. I'm part of like a Facebook group of like dementia caregivers. And it's like people, they just start to not even be able to associate anything to reality. It's like, one of them was like, with the stories that I read was like their mom or something was screaming about how they like had cut them in half, like their kids or whatever had cut them in half. And, if you cannot pay for somebody to be in a facility like this, like you're left to be a primary caregiver at home. That's like the only viable option. And so on some level, I can buy this, that like, yes, she was a danger to herself, but like, what else are they going to do with her? Like, it is sort of like, I mean, this is fucked up, but I do think that there's kind of this thing where it's like, yeah, we're just going to send her home. And if she hurts herself again, like,
I didn't think, because I thought if you're doing that, like you're ripping your pieces of your skin off, maybe not all the other stuff. So she walks around. It is dangerous that she goes outside. She loses her temper, things like that. I totally understand. But she was like self-mutilating herself. I thought that they might put her into a psychiatric hospital at that point. But yeah, that makes sense. I had no idea. And if my note for the beginning of the movie is because I thought you forgot things, and you know what, and I apologize for saying this because it sounds so lame, but my understanding of this, I guess my understanding, because I have never done research on it, is things like The Notebook or movies of you. And it's scary enough. You're forgetting things. You don't know who these people are, and they're your loved ones. How it's portrayed like that was my only understanding of it. So in the beginning of this movie, where they're talking about all these different, they hallucinate, and then like the end of their life, they can lose all motor function, all of this stuff. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, I had no idea.
Yeah, no, it can get bad. Like, and it does. And again, like if you don't have the money or the resources to put somebody in a care facility, like you as the primary caregiver are there to deal with that burden. And it's like oftentimes people, I think the other thing is, I mean, I'm obviously going to separate like dementia and Alzheimer's. They are different. But I think there are some similarities. I think dementia is worse. But people like will be agitated, right? They'll get agitated easily and like yell and say horrible things to people. And it's just, it's a lot. So I think that's why I'm totally bought into the premise of this. And that's why her acting, I felt like, was good for me in the way that it's like, yes, I could see how somebody would become agitated like this, where you're like, you need to do this, It's like scary. I like movies about this. I feel like there actually aren't that many. There's only a few that I can think of that are like wrapped up with dementia or Alzheimer's or these types of diseases that are, what's it called when it continues?
Chronic?
And gets worse. Yeah, like progressive. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but at the end of life,
Gotcha.
I think there's a lot of opportunity to make horror movies about this specific thing because it's scary.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I stand corrected. But there should have been more cops looking for that little girl, not just the doctor.
Agreed. And this doctor is like involved constantly. Like, I'm just like, where did you come from? No way. Kidding?
What else do you have?
I think the last note that I have that I just want to mention, because I thought it was really funny. This movie has probably one of the worst / best examples / scenes of somebody like talking just nonsense. You know how sometimes in movies there will be like a hacker scene or whatever, and people are like saying just total nonsense. I feel that way about this movie for that one scene. So it's after Deborah goes up to the attic and she's like messing with the switchboard, and they get her like speaking, and she's, she sounds all possessed and whatever. So then later Gavin plays back the sound, and I don't know if you got this, but this is like, I'm going to try to just parrot back to you what they say. I don't think it's going to be exact, but it's going to be pretty close, because I went back and watched it like 3 times because I was like, this is fucking crazy. It's like the worst. Just total nonsense, gibberish words. It sounds like it makes sense, but it doesn't. He's like, you remember how you wanted me to check the sound from the, from the switcher on the camera? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, okay, well, I pulled it down from the onboard camera. Which does not make sense. What he meant was like onboard mic, probably, right? He's like, I pulled it down from the onboard camera. And he's like, I modulated the inflection. I pulled it down, sped it up, translated it, and listen to this shit, dude. Plays it. And so like, it's just, none of that makes sense. I modulated the inflection, pulled it down, sped it up, translated it. It's like, okay, what? None of that. What? And then he like plays it and it plays in English. I just could not. I was like, this is one of the worst. I mean, how could you fuck this up so bad that I don't know.
That's
Call
hilarious.
me out. Call me out. Somebody listen to this. I went and did some research just to make sure I didn't sound like an asshole when I made fun of this. Okay. Because I cannot have that. I don't. I'm scared. Okay. Of people calling me out. But do it in a nice way. Just send me a message and say, Tawny, you're wrong. But what the fuck words are these? The inflection. An inflection is the way that you speak. It's like how you say things. It just doesn't make sense. I modulated the inflection, pulled it down, sped it up, translated it. Listen to this. What?
I love that. I'm so glad you shared that because I don't know if I caught that. Yeah. I was just like, what did she say?
I made Jade watch it like 3 times. I was like, listen to this. It's fucking crazy. This is that hacker shit. You know how people are like, they're on the computer. All I have to do is reverse the 18 characters that the highest level of like blah, blah, blah could be. I've done run it through an algorithm logarithmic key and I'll have the password, like just totally made up bullshit.
Oh my God. I'm so glad you said all of that because it was fucking amazing. Because at first when you were like, like that hacker bullshit in the movies, I was like, I mean,
you're like,
I know hackers in the movies. I was trying so hard what is she going to talk about? Now I get it.
From the onboard camera. I just, these 14, I don't even know. It's not that many lines, but it's like, I just cracked me up. I really wanted to like this movie. I really did. Because I remember liking it the first time. And I feel like there are things that are good about it, but they're definitely overshadowed by the negatives. You know what I mean? It was a rough one.
I wanted to like it too. Thanks for suggesting it. I'm glad I saw it.
I can't believe that 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. That really shocked me.
Yeah, 91%. Maybe they saw it when it first came out.
Yeah, maybe.
And they haven't seen, people ripping Flash and I don't know.
That was new.
This was new
for them.
Going up into the attic was new.
Yeah.
Those weird movements from like the ground to the stove was all new.
Yeah. There also was like I think I caught a continuity error because they tried to put the little letters in the bottom right where it's like camera A, hospital cam A, but they switched to the second camera and it was still said A until we switched away, came back, and then it was B,
Done with this movie. I'm just kidding.
Dead to me. Dead to me. Fuck this movie. I know that's a minor thing to notice, but I do feel like what I will say is a positive note. What I do think is they had a very small budget, and I think they made it feel like they had more of the budget than they did. Like the amount of people and locations that were sold to me, like I bought that they were in a hospital. I started to watch because I was like, this is definitely a low budget movie. How did they make it look like they're in a hospital? I wonder if this is just like a room that they decorated to look that way. But it looks legit, and they have quite a few members of cast, in here that just you wouldn't have in a really small budget. So I think they stretched their budget in a really effective way. So that's a positive.
It all went to the snake.
Yeah.
Snake face. Yeah, see, I feel like there have been movies where we were blown away and shocked at how low the budget was.
Yeah.
And they were fucking great. They have $2 million. It's a low budget, but I feel like we've seen things that were even lower than that. And we were shocked.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I see what you're saying too.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
that's it.
That's
all
it.
I got.
That's it for me too. So now we get to rate it. And are you ready for that?
No, never.
Never.
Pull it up.
This one is really hard for me. I know I say that a lot, and so I should stop saying it because this time it really is because I had no feelings about it.
Yeah.
So if you really hate something, it's easier, right? Because you're like, I really didn't like it. Or if you really love it. So I'm looking at different movies, say that I didn't like as much as others. And I'm like, did I like it more than this movie? I don't know. Because I didn't really like it, but I really didn't like this movie. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I don't know where to place it.
All
right. All right. We didn't know. And now we know. If you don't know, now you know. Tawny, what are you rating this movie?
I think I'm going to give this a 2.75, which I also gave to Dreamcatcher and the Amityville Horror remake. And also I gave Friday the 13th and Halloween Kills, which I don't know, maybe I need to put Halloween Kills lower, but I think I liked it on that level. I in the beginning of the episode, usually like one of my midpoint is a 3, and if it's worth a watch. And in the beginning I said it is worth a watch, but I take it back. The whole movie is maybe not worth a watch, but the one scene is worth a watch. You do need to watch that.
Just fast forward it to the end.
Yes. And if you're a big fan of found footage, I would say it's worth a watch. Maybe. But I think that's where I ended up, is a 2.75.
Nice. I ended up at a 2.7.
Okay.
And at first it stopped because you liked it more than me. But then as you explained, your 2.7s, all those that you mentioned, I scored higher than you for those different movies. So I think it makes sense because my movies I scored a 2.7 were all around. I think those were movies maybe that you scored a little bit higher. So I think that makes sense. Not that I'm trying to make it make sense, but yeah. At first when you're like a 2.75, I'm like, oh shit, wait a second. she liked this more than me. I need to change it. But for me, that aligns with my other 2
scores.
pointers. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, cool. All right. Awesome. Well, next week we have our friend and Patreon member, Christine, coming on the show. She's the one, if you haven't seen it, go to our Instagram and see that cross stitch she made me. I'm losing my mind over it. I love it so much.
So cute. So cute.
Oh my. I love it. And Tawny, for my birthday, sent me like these audition pictures. God, I can't wait to frame them. Oh gosh. I just can't wait to get my new studio. Yeah. If you are on YouTube, Tawny has it. She's showing it right now. It is my favorite picture ever. And I just can't wait. But anyways, sorry. Christine's coming on. I digress. And she brought It Follows to us. So
yes. Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Very excited
to watch it. So I just mentioned you can follow us on Instagram, or you can go to twochicksandahorrorflick.com. Both of those places you can find everything else, whether you like Facebook or TikTok or wherever else you want to go, including if you want to get some merch to support the show. It's awesome merch, and also our Discord channel where you can just meet other horror loving folks in there. There's so much fun and have a bunch of conversations. And Tawny, what else?
So you can support the show by going to Patreon, like Felicia mentioned. Did you mention that actually?
Mm-mm.
Okay, my bad.
Because you mentioned it, so.
Yeah, let me start it. Let me start over.
Okay.
So you can support the show by going to Patreon, and you can also give us a like, review, subscribe on whatever podcatcher you're listening to us on. That would help us get just pushed up as a recommended show for other people. But that's all. So we hope you have such a good night and no nightmares.